The legacy of Rich Rodriguez as he starts this likely final run as the head coach of the West Virginia Mountaineers. Has he earned his spot in the College Football Hall of Fame? Does he need to do well at West Virginia this time to earn that spot? How does his resume compare to the late, great Mike Leach? That's what we're going to discuss in this episode of Couz's Corner, and we're going to do it right after this word from one of our channel sponsors. Since 1931, the attorneys at Katz, Cantor, Stone Street, and Buckner have been the voice for victims who have suffered serious injury or death. They have a fierce passion for truth and justice and a sincere compassion for those who have been wronged by others. Whether you have been in a car accident or fighting with an insurance company, or you or a loved one has suffered serious injury or death due to medical negligence, we will ensure your voice is heard loud and clear. Katz, Cantor, Stone Street, and Buckner will ensure there is justice for all West Virginians because we are your lawyer, your voice. Visit us at yourlawyeryourvoice.com. What is up, and welcome into this episode of Couz's Corner, your home for top-shelf college sports news and analysis around West Virginia and the Big 12. Today, we're focusing on West Virginia and specifically Rich Rodriguez. Has he earned himself a spot in the College Football Hall of Fame? Or does he need to solidify that in this last tenure at West Virginia? Can he do it? Let's talk about that here today. What gave me the idea for this video? It's kind of twofold. Number one, Mike Leach. The late, great Mike Leach, as most of you already know, was not eligible for the College Football Hall of Fame, despite his great career, until last week. The National Football Foundation lowered the required winning percentage to be inducted into the Hall of Fame as a coach from .60 to .595. Mike Leach, despite his great career, only had a winning percentage of .596. So, he will now be eligible for the College Football Hall of Fame and will likely get voted in 2027 when this new rule goes into effect. Well, that got me thinking a little bit about Rich Rodriguez and his career. And then got to give a shout out to my guy, Mike Osti, over at WV SportsNow, was the first person out with an article and a video about this. He talked about it over on his show and also did a great article, which I will leave a link to in the description box. Mike did a little bit to compare the careers of Mike Leach and Rich Rodriguez and talked about how Rodriguez has the same winning percentage as Leach, .596. I went through the numbers. He's dead on. When you look at his career at the FBS level and his career at the Division II level with Salem and Glenville State, right there at .596, right there with Mike Leach. So, when you look at that, and then when you look at their resumes, I mean, a lot of similarities. You know, Mike Leach is known as an offensive guru with the air raid alongside Hal Mumme. Was sort of the innovators, I guess you could say, of the air raid offense, or at least they took it to another level. Rich Rodriguez did the same thing. As a matter of fact, in a recent article over at The Athletic, Bruce Feldman called Rich Rodriguez the godfather of the zone read offense. That's something he developed during his days at Glenville State. And he's been known as an offensive innovator himself. So Rich Rodriguez, Mike Leach, both known as offensive innovators. Both have really, really changed the sport with their offensive mind, right? So they have that similarity. Same winning percentage. Mike Leach's career record was 158 and 107. Rich Rodriguez's record is 190, 129, and 2. Rich Rodriguez, 6-6 overall in bowl games. Mike Leach, 8-9 in bowl games. So the record there is pretty close. Mike Leach in the AP poll appeared in the AP poll at some point during 14 of his 21 years as a head coach, which is 67% of the years he coached. He appeared in the AP poll. When you look at the 18 years that Rich Rodriguez coached at the FBS level, he has appeared in the AP poll 12 of those 18 years. Again, 67%. Exactly the same. Rich Rodriguez, a 4-time Conference Coach of the Year. Mike Leach, a 3-time Conference Coach of the Year. Mike Leach, also a National Coach of the Year back in 2018, according to the American Federation of Coaches, or the AFCA. I mentioned their overall record. One thing Rich Rod does have, actually two things Rich Rod actually has on Mike Leach. Rich Rod has won 6 conference titles. When you look at the 2 he won at Jacksonville State, the 4 he won during his Big East days at West Virginia, he's won 6 conference championships. Mike Leach Based on the research I did, it appears that he does not have any conference championships. Now, you can correct me if you're a Texas Tech fan watching this or just somebody that knows college football. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But I do not believe he ever won a conference title. Even that great year he had at Texas Tech, the year they won 11 games, I think they, if I'm not mistaken, they still weren't the conference champions that year. I think Oklahoma ended up winning the league. But correct me if I'm wrong. The other thing that Rodriguez has on Leach is he has that Sugar Bowl victory over Georgia, the BCS Bowl win. Mike Leach, 0-2 in New Year's Six and or BCS Bowl games. Hey, do me a favor. Go check out my good friends over at Appalachia Digital. If you need a brand new website for your small business, or if you're just looking to get found easier on Google, go check out appalachiadigital.com/Couz. These are the fine folks who designed my brand new website over at wvsportschat.com. They did a fantastic job. I love their work. I think you will too. So go check them out. appalachiadigital.com/Couz. Let them know Couz sent you. Now let's get back to the show. There is one thing, though, that Mike Leach has on, actually two things Mike Leach has on Rich Rodriguez. Mike Leach has won 18 games over ranked teams while being unranked. That's the most of any coach ever since the AP poll started keeping track or keeping rankings in 1936. So Mike Leach has one-upped Rich Rod in that regard. Another area that you could look at Mike Leach's career and say he has an advantage over Rich Rod, when you look at his coaching tree. Just look at it for yourself. Go to Wikipedia and look it up. Dana Holgorsen, Mike Leach disciple. Josh Heupel, a Mike Leach disciple. Lincoln Riley, a Mike Leach disciple. Heck, even Cliff Kingsbury, who coached in the NFL, played for Mike Leach. Graham Harrell played for Mike Leach. He's a coordinator now at the Power 4 level, or at least he was. Keep going down even Neil Brown played for Mike Leach. He's been a successful coordinator, somewhat of a successful career as a head coach, especially when you count his days at Troy. Eric Morris, who's now at North Texas doing good things. Mike Leach, air raid tree. And the list goes on. I could name a bunch more, but I'm not going to. But you get my point. Rich Rodriguez's coaching tree, not saying it's bad, but it's not near as extensive as Leach's. And heck, and to be honest, a lot of Coach Rod's loyal coaches have stayed with him throughout his career and remained assistants on his staff. People like Jeff Castile. Now, Tony Gibson finally getting his shot to be a head coach at Marshall. I'm sure there are coaches out there, that have been head coaches, but his coaching tree is nowhere near as extensive as Mike Leach's. That's the one area I would give Leach an advantage. But, man, when you look at their resumes side by side, they're pretty much the same. However, Rich Rod has this last, unfortunately, Mike Leach passed away, or he would likely still be coaching. Well, Rich Rod is still coaching. So this tenure at West Virginia, if it goes well, like Austin talked about in his article, if it goes well and West Virginia has multiple winning seasons, he may lock himself up as a future Hall of Famer or as a Hall of Famer. If it goes bad and he has multiple losing seasons and his winning percentage drops below that .595 number, might just coach himself out of the College Football Hall of Fame. Now, I'm sure that's not Coach Rod's number one priority. His number one priority, I'm sure, is to win conference championships and even national championships, as he said multiple times. He thinks he can do that at West Virginia. But when you look at his personal legacy and what he's done right now, as of today, it looks to me like Rich Rod's resume is right up there with Mike Leach. What does he do from here on out? That is the ultimate question. What do you think? Do you think Rich Rod has built himself a Hall of Fame worthy resume up to this point? Or does he need to do more in your eyes to earn himself a spot in the Hall of Fame? I want to hear your thoughts. I want to give a quick shout out to my VIP channel members of this episode. Shane V, who's a new member here at Couz's Corner. Thank you, Shane, for your membership. Al Walker, Dane the Surveyor, WV Wildman 82, Appalachia Africa Twin, and Hellbilly. Thank you all for your support for being paid VIP members. If you want to be a paid VIP member, hit the join button below. If you don't see a join button below, hit it over at the channel homepage, on my channel homepage beside my profile photo, or in the description box of this video. You will get random shout outs. You get first dibs on chats and live streams. And for the club level members, you get early access to some of my videos that I will release early. That being said, and once in a blue moon, I'll do something special for my club level members too, something neat and unique. but most of the time it's just the early videos. Also want to give another shout out to my sponsors, Cats, Counter, Stone Street, and Buckner, and Appalachia Digital. I want to ask that you please subscribe to my channel. Please hit the thumbs up button on this video. It really helps that algorithm. Please share it with your family and friends who like West Virginia Mountaineer and Big 12 sports. You can also check out this video here in the corner of your screen. YouTube thinks you'll like it. Hope the rest of your day's top shelf. Stay blessed and cue country roads.